My guest for today is Jerilynn Stephens. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. You're like a dream come true guest. You're everything that I've ever wanted and more.
Oh my God, I'm going to take you home with me.
Yeah. So, Jerilynn, where are you from?
I'm originally from Traverse City, Michigan. It's a little town up northern Michigan on Lake Michigan. I grew up there and until I was 21, and then I moved to Seattle and spent 12 years there, and then or 11 years, and then moved to LA in 2001.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
What did your mom and dad do for a living when you were growing up?
Well, they owned clothing stores, a woman's clothing store and a kid's clothing store. So we were in retail most of my life. I think they had that until they were until 1987, which was I was like 17. And my mom actually, when she was pregnant with me and until I was 3 years old, she was actually a hairstylist, a beautician back in the day. So when she decided to help my dad with the clothing stores, she quit doing hair and just kitchen cut us. I
Yeah.
got a lot of perms in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least your mom was a professional. You know, some of the worst horror stories is when your mom isn't a professional giving you those terms in the
Right,
kitchen. Right. So
right.
what types of things did you do like when you're growing up for fun?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was a gymnast most of my life, up until I was a junior in high school. I blew my knee out. We used to ski and then water sports, and I was always really active, and also a lot of partying going on in my high school years.
Right. So at what point, at what age did you know that you were going to start doing hair and doing makeup and getting into this industry?
I was 25. I was living in Seattle. Honestly, I was kind of a lost child, if you will, growing up. I was quite the follower. I was just wanting to fit in, and, not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life. So, people would always ask, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do in college? And I honestly was like, I had no idea. In my head, my dad's telling me, to be get a business degree, and so I went to college in a community college for like a year and a half and did accounting and all that stuff, and I was like, this is not for me. So I ended up falling in love, moving to Seattle, and it was during that grunge phase in the 90s, and it was really different and fun, and a lot going on. And so I was bartending, and really it was just like a constant like wheel of, waking up at noon or 2, working from 9 to 3, and then staying up until 6. And it was just like this vicious cycle. And when I was turning 25, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And a friend of mine started esthetician school, and I started beauty school. And, at that point, I honestly, when I entered beauty school, I finally like figured out my purpose. I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be, even though it was really scary to start something new like that. But I found my purpose. And then while I was in beauty school, I got the chance to visit a film set in Seattle. And that's actually where there's those events in your life that you could look back that changed it forever. And it was me walking on that set, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do hair in movies and TV. So at that point is when I started like, that was my goal. And I knew I had to move to Los Angeles eventually. How was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. That's an excellent answer. I'm a hairstylist as well, and so
Oh,
the first time that hit me is when I did a photo shoot, and I was like, "This is it. I love this." And so,
yeah.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean when it finally like sinks in for you. So,
Transforming someone, sorry to interrupt you,
that's okay.
transforming someone on the outside can really, really affect someone on the inside, which is
Yeah.
so beautiful when you can have that sort of, you know, effect on people and how they feel.
Yeah, I agree. So, how long do you think it took before you actually started to feel successful? I mean, you're on The Voice, you know, you do hair for The Voice and Shark Tank and all these, I mean, 7-time Emmy Award winner, I mean, nominated. I mean, it's just amazing to me. So, tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about success.
It's amazing to me as well. And it took a long time. This is what I want to tell all of you young people out there. You know, I've been doing hair for 25 years. I'm 50. And like, I'm proud of that. My career has like blossomed into something really amazing that I never thought was possible. And, it took like 6 years for me to actually get out of Seattle. When I graduated beauty school, with my goal being in LA working on film sets, I knew I needed to become a double hitter, as they say, which is hair and makeup. So I went to film school for makeup. I started putting together a portfolio, which back then in the 90s, we had a paper like
Yeah.
book. And so I was just doing any job I could do for free and get photos and all of that so that I had something, you know, to show people. And so it took me about 6 years. And I have to say, there was a lot of drinking and partying and all that kind of crazy stuff going on for me. Um, and I think that if I had more of a clear mind and not so much darkness, my life probably, in fact, I know would have escalated much quicker. But I ended up, you know, having the experiences I did and moving to Los Angeles right after 9/11.
Wow.
And yeah, November 1st, I left and moved to Los Angeles. And that's where, like, you know, I just like, it's so scary, you guys. So like, it takes a lot of, here's my advice to people. If you want to do what I'm doing, I want you to hang in there, know your goal at the end, and just keep making decisions that are going to push you to that goal. You know, don't do the little stuff that's not going to make a difference in your life. Do the stuff that is going to bring you great achievements, you know, towards your goal. So that's, you know, it did take me a long time. I actually got my first big break a year after I moved to Los Angeles and actually getting sober.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so I hit a rock bottom, and I want you to know, like, you know, my sobriety has been, you know, off and on. I had 6 years or 5 years and 10 months through that, you know, big step. And then my life got amazing. And I said to my husband, I was like, you know what? I think I can drink. I think this could be really fun. And I think it was just a bad time. It was total alcoholism talking to me. And I knew this, by the way, but he did not. And so, anyway, I'm coming up on 6 years
Wow.
again, and I've never felt better and, you know, more powerful than with sobriety. But my point with that is when I became clear, I got my first big breaks of like meeting people and getting into the industry, and then finally became union, because you have to become a union hairstylist in 2007. So you guys, I like had all of that time. I graduated in 96 from beauty school. And then 2007, I finally get in, or six, I got into the hair union. So, I mean, it was like 10 years of like really just trudging, man, just like going for it. And, you know, and it's not like I just popped into the union and was like, here I am, let me be a department head. Like I had no idea a department head hairstylist, you know, running these shows was even a goal until I started like
Yeah.
getting into it more. So it takes
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. A lot of people don't know how to get into that. So that's really important that you let people know, you know, the
Well,
union. Yeah. Because there's really not a lot of people who understand that. So,
well, and what my advice to anyone wanting to get union is live in Los Angeles or
yeah.
New York, you know,
Yeah.
getting into the East Coast, 798, local 798. But like I think there's Facebook groups now for like non-union projects, and I would get in on those groups. I don't know, put up on LinkedIn your resumes and things like that. I just really would take every single avenue I could to get myself out there, you know.
Right. So from what I understand, you have this really amazing book. Would you please tell us about this book that you have?
Well, it's called, here it is, The 5 F Words to Manifesting Your Life. And honestly, like that came about because I had a girlfriend who was like, why is it everything you say comes true? And I was like, well, I mean, not everything I say does come true, but a lot. And I'm really careful about what I think and say. You know, I'm very much the glass is half full. I will find the positive in almost everything. So that book came about because I was speaking to beauty school students, because in 2018, I was like, my life is so much bigger and better than I had ever imagined. I have like 7 Emmy nominations, a Guild Award win with like 10 or 9 nominations there. I mean, that just shows you, like, every time I do a show, I'm like, we are going for it. Like, I want this every episode to be Emmy nominated or Guild Award winning, and just like do our best at what our craft is, right? And so the 5 F words basically came up because she asked me about the steps that I take, and they are this, and I will share these steps with you guys. Figure out what you want is always first. Okay. All the other steps I'm going to share with you are, they kind of work all together in circular. And that's why I have a logo that's in a circle with the F words, because they all just sort of flow together. So figure out what you want, focus, fearless action, because fear will stop you and give you excuses. Feel it already existing as if you already have it. And faith in yourself, faith in the universe and God or whoever your belief is a big, part of all of this.
Yeah, I love everything that you're saying right now, because our listeners, that's exactly who they are. Everything that you're saying, a lot of questions that I like to ask my guests is about some of the fears that maybe they had to overcome. What was something that you had to overcome in your life to get your career?
Oh my God, girl. I mean, it's like fear was, especially in the drinking days, it was like I was living on fear, but there's all kinds of fears that you just doesn't mean, like, having fear doesn't mean you don't have courage. So like grab your courage and like walk through fear. One of the examples I use in the book is, surfing. I took up surfing, and I don't surf anymore. I decided, you know what, the sharks can be there and I'm good. But like, I have never spent so much time in the Pacific Ocean for good reason. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. My son was surfing, and so he's like, Mom, you would love it. I know you would. And so I took it up, and I like really was scared out of my mind. And so I remember that feeling, that first time walking out in the water, and I can feel the water going up my wetsuit, and I hop on the board probably in 1.5 feet of water, because I'm like, I do not want to touch anything, and like swim with paddle. But like fear, we all have fear, but it's like, how are you going to let it like debilitate you and not, and stop you from, like, what did I get out of that? I got moments in time with my son, me and him out on the ocean with dolphins swimming underneath us. And it was incredible, So, and I also took up riding a Harley as well. So it's like we have family Harley trips, and those are amazing things. And here's the thing, you guys, don't let other people's beliefs and fears stop you.
Yeah.
Because like, if I listened to everybody who was like, You're 40 at the time, 46 years old, and you're going to start riding a Harley. Do you know how many people? Oh, my friend died. It's like all of these stories. And I'm like, I am not accepting your stories. I get it. I know there's a risk, but you know what? I'm trudging through.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a warrior. And I have so much fun hopping on that motorcycle, and we just ride through the canyons, and it's just unbelievable. My son actually rides on the back of my husband's, but he's getting really big. He's like almost as tall as him. But yeah.
I love that you just said that. I think for hairstylists especially, a lot of us get told that when we want to go into the industry.
Yes.
A lot of us get told, well, you're not going to make any money, you're not going to be much in your life, or whatever it is. That's something I've heard on repeat from a lot of these listeners. And so I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes, you are completely right. My mother, for example, was not supportive. She was, living in Michigan. She's like, Jerilynn, why don't you come back to Michigan and make $40,000 a year? Do you know what $40,000 a year is here? And I was like, but that's not no, I want to go do movies.
Yeah.
And then the woman that I was apprenticing under in Seattle, she was like, that is the worst idea ever. Why would you want to do that? Work 12, 14 hours a day and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I did not let those people's opinions scare me. I do not know how that happened because I was so lost, but I just kept with that dream, So don't let people's fears become yours. And guess what? I make over 6 digits, and you can too. Okay. Yeah. So like all of you can make over 6 digits if you set your mind to it, especially if you're in a salon as well. You have to incorporate colors and extensions and things like that. Like start working smarter, not harder, even though it's going to be different going back into the salon now, but we'll figure it out.
So from what I understand, you've now moved into doing some life coaching. Is that right?
Yes.
Because whoever you're coaching is very lucky to have you. I mean, to say that.
Oh my gosh. It's like, it just seems like the natural path for me. And, with the book and speaking to people, and I've been through so much therapy and, 12-step programs and all of this experience with, and my marriage for 13 and a half years and our son, it's like, I have all this experience that I want to share and help people to transform their lives and become the best version of themselves. And I'm doing it through the 5 F words, so figure out what you want, focus, fearless action, feel it existing, and faith. And so it's the 5 steps to life coaching, basically.
Yeah. What types of things do you do, like, to bring calmness into your life? Do you do any type of meditation or anything like that?
100%. I think here's the deal. Meditation, if you can do it for 5 to 15 minutes a day, that's all you need. That's all you need. And if you can find, like, I literally put it on my to-do list on a daily basis now, because I've found that all of a sudden I go through the day and I go, oh my God, I didn't take like 7 minutes to myself like I like to. And so I'll put it in. I have a daily list now, and a weekly list, and a monthly list, and a year goal list. I read this book, you guys, I'm going to share with you right now. It's called Eat That Frog. Okay. It's by Brian Tracy. It has changed my life.
Okay.
So, so I meditate around 7 minutes a day. And I also, during that 7 minutes, I go in with prayer of what I want to receive. And I also visualize, and I talk about this in my book too, how I visualize and, how I want things to happen, me helping. I visualize like hugging people and like, seeing them like blossom into the women that they're intended to be, and like just all these really great feelings of love and kindness and happiness, because that's really what we want.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so true. It's, really, when you're talking about love and happiness and all this stuff, I totally see that in you. Everything that you're about and everything you speak about in your book and just the way you carry yourself, it's in you. And I can't wait to get my hands on your book. I wish I would have read it before. But
I
I
need
just,
to mail it to you.
well,
Did I
I just,
not mail it?
I,
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'll send you a copy.
That sounds lovely. I really can't wait to read it. I agree with every word that you're saying. I think that all of those things are exactly right. I've seen them in my life. I've seen them in other people's lives. And hearing you say that it's helped you get as far as you are today, I mean, that just speaks volumes for so many people. You've accomplished so many things, and you're such a leader, a positive leader, and you speak the truth. And so I'm just so glad to have you on here, inspiring all these people who look up to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll mail you a copy. They can get it on, people can get it on Amazon or my website. I will, off my website, you have to pay for shipping, but I sign it and I'll put in a little sticker and all that good
Nice.
stuff. Personalize it, but yeah.
So tell everybody, what is your website so they can get there?
Oh, my name. It's JerilynStephens.com, and that's my Instagram as well. I am Hollywood Hairstylist on Facebook, and I guess it's Hollywood Hairstylist on Instagram as well. You know how you have the handle and
Yeah.
all that stuff, right? I'm Hollywood Hairstylist on Instagram and Facebook, and Jerilynn Stephens on my website.
Well, everybody, just so you know, I have been following her for, I don't know, about a month now, and I'm obsessed with everything that you say. I know that you have interviews on there with some other people who are trying to come through the industry. There's so much value in what she teaches you on her Instagram and on her website and everything. So make sure you go there, make sure you visit, get this book, elevate your life, do everything you can to just go further. And, Jerilynn, thank you so much for being here today. I realize that time is so valuable.
Thank you so much. No, this was a